Hello, everyone. Welcome to round number 9 of the FIDE Candidates 2022 in Madrid. Again, one of the highlights of this round is Firouzja's win over Rapport, the youngest player in the candidate, winning his first game after 9 rounds. Let's check it out. Okay, he played e4. Rapport went for e5. Knight into f3, knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6. Actually, this is quite of a surprise. Rapport playing solid chess in the beginning here. d3, bishop c5, castles, knight d4, takes, c3, bishop to b6, knight into a3. Rapport went for c6, bishop a4, d6, bishop to b3. Okay, white's idea with this bishop on b3, the target is f7. He could go for bishop e3 or knight c4 first, knight c4. And once he gets this f4 pressure on the f7 pawn, white should be better. And I don't like this queen e7 move by Richard. Okay, this is Richard Rapport though. Here he should play a5. The point, okay, let's just say knight c4, keep the bishop on a7. Because you need to stop f4 at all cost. If white plays king h1, you go for a4. Of course, the bishop cannot capture this one, there's b5. Bishop c2, you can go knight g4 here. Yeah. Threat would be queen h4. But Rapport went for queen e7. Okay, this is a loss of tempo. Now knight c4 comes into play. If you go bishop c7, now then white has f4. This is white's idea, right? Helping the bishop on the f1 with the rook. So Rapport, after knight c4, he played bishop g4, queen e1, he played bishop c5. He wants to keep the bishop on this diagonal. But white just simply plays king h1. You don't have any more knight g4 because the bishop is there. If earlier, okay, let's take a look at bishop c5. Let's say bishop c5 with the queen on d1, white has d4. And if you go bishop g4, the queen will just go d3 or even f3. Black loses a piece. So queen e7 was a mistake. Yeah, it was the start of a bad plan. Bishop g4, queen e1, bishop c5, king h1. White is better now. a5, maybe b5 is still fine, although white now has knight e3. Right, bishop e6, I would just go back, bishop c2. If black castles, I always have f4. The main idea, f4. If you take on f4, rook takes f4, I have d4 coming up. Yeah, and then some ideas of queen h4, e5 with that bishop and queen over there. Rapport played a5, f4. Finally, a4, bishop c2, no problem. b5, and Firouzja went for the most aggressive approach, takes on e5. The young Firouzja takes queen c5, d4. Very energetic. Takes, queen takes d4, bishop e3. Although here, a better move, a stronger move could have been bishop d2, queen takes b2, rook c1. If black castles, then we have bishop c3, of course, yes. There's take and queen g3. So not possible. Firouzja went for bishop e3. He doesn't want black to castle. Again, if you castle, bishop d4, the threat, and this one. So bishop e6, protecting f7. Bishop d4, bishop c5, preventing black to castle. Queen c3, rook c1, rook into d8, bishop to b1, queen e5, queen h4. Here, Rapport, I think, made the final mistake or the decisive mistake of the king, bishop c4. He probably thought that he has this pressure on b2 with the rook going to f5, yeah? Because the rook has to protect the c5 bishop. And then after queen b2, Firouzja just played rook g1, a pretty safe rook move. And that king on e8 is just very bad. Now let's take a look at this position. Instead of bishop c4, I think black needs to go for h6 here. Firouzja might go h3 as well, stop some ideas of knight g4. Okay, maybe rook to d7 here. You have to protect the important e7 square. Yeah, I don't know how white can continue here. It's not so easy. Black is holding. Let's say a move like, okay, you have to go back, maybe bishop b4. I don't know, we could go g5, knight h5, knight g3. Okay, but bishop c4 is just bad. Rook g1, bishop e6 back, queen g3. I think you missed this. Because if you take the rook, there's e takes f5, you don't even need to capture. You don't even capture the g7 pawn. Because now the king is not safe anymore. Okay, knight to d7 back, bishop d6, keeping that king in the middle. That's why it's just a very important thing is to castle as soon as possible. If you're not castled, king will be dead. Rook ff1, h5, e5, pretty good move. Yeah, the main point here, let's just play a random move. Let's just go for h4, for example. But not maybe, okay, let's just say rook to g8 to protect this one, yeah. White has this queen g6 idea or bishop g6 also, yes. Or maybe here bishop h7. If you go g6, white also has queen g5 mate on e7. So Rapport now is forced to play queen g4. It's just a very bad king on e8. Queen to e3, h4, h3, queen h5, centralizing the bishop. He thinks c6. You cannot take this pawn. I can just capture. If you capture on e5, this covert attack. Rapport had to play queen h6. Firouzja went for queen f3. It was also possible to even play queen a7 here, pinning the knight. Yes, the knight cannot even move. And now your threat is bishop takes e6. If you protect, for example, rook c8, queen to b7 is dead. And if you go bishop to d5, just takes, c takes d5, e6, crashing. You cannot go queen takes e6, rook e1. If you go f takes e6, white can do anything. Yeah, maybe rook f3, rook f1, game over. Yeah. Rook f3 is simple. Yeah, and a loop. That's the problem when your king is not castled. Simple advice, make sure the king is castled, yeah. So let's go back to the position after h3, queen f3, f6, bishop takes e6. Okay, the king has moved to f7, safe place, but pawns. at the pawns, and still the pressure on the f5. It's still on a pressure line here. Knight takes e5. Nice move, bishop e2 after queen g5. Black loses a piece with bishop takes e5. Of course, the queen cannot take the bishop. Queen takes e5 loses the queen because of that pin on the f7. Okay. Okay, sometimes creativity backfires. In this case, this is the case with this report. He tried to be creative in this game, and it backfired. It all started with this queen e7 move. In elite chess, in elite level, this tempo, just one tempo with queen e7 was critical. And Firouzja, of course, knew the main point of that queen e7, the knight c4. Once white plays f4, white was already winning. So you got to be careful with your preparation and also your opening choice when you're playing elite players. Because one mistake or even a slight mistake will ruin the whole game. And that's what happened with the Rapport now with that move, queen e7. Once white played this f4 move, it was almost over for black. So that was it. Firouzja winning his first game after 9 rounds in the candidates. And Nepomniachtchi continues to lead after drawing with Fabiano Caruana. Nepomniachtchi with 6.5. Caruana stays at 5.5. The 1-point lead for Nepomniachtchi going into the last 5 rounds of the competition. Okay, guys, thank you for supporting our channel. Try Smash Chess and Try Smash Entertainment on Facebook and YouTube. This is Coach Oliver. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.